everybody, welcome to GameGuru Classic and GameGuru Max broadcast number 120. And so for those who are joining live and have been here before, we know the drill. This broadcast is divided roughly into two sections. The first part, I get to demo some stuff about GameGuru Classic and Max, and in the second part I can answer some of your questions. And we've got into the rhythm of extending the Q&A into Discord once the live broadcast is complete. So we're going to do it in that order. I now formally skip a sound check. I think after over 100 broadcasts I've kind of figured out how a microphone works, which is all good. So without further ado, one last little thing. If you were joining us live, stick a question mark please at the end of your question. It just makes it a little bit easier to scan for. I believe I'm the only one here this week to answer questions, so sorry about that. It's just me, I'm afraid. You're stuck with me this time round. And just to give you a heads up, and I'll mention it again towards the end, the next 3 weeks of broadcasts will be pre-records because I'm going on a short holiday. But we are including the Discord live chat at the end of those pre-records, so there's a bit of a pseudo live activity going on. But the broadcasts have been pre-recorded and they will be scheduled as normal at Wednesday at 7 PM GMT. We've bounced back to the GMT daylight savings time, so go check out that every Wednesday at 7 PM. So let's get stuck into what I have to show you on the GameGuru Classic side. If anyone's been tuning in, I think I did a bit of a tweet on Discord just to let everybody know who was interested, that the commit has dropped for the procedural simulated sky, and I think I showed a video last week, but this week I want to show you exactly how it works. Now it's not publicly released yet, as you just saw in that bit of a flash on the about. This is the November fixes update, but what I have done, I've included this build in the beta and the public preview on GameGuru Classic. So if you're on Steam, go to the product page, you'll see a beta tab, select public preview or beta, and you get this one. And I'll show you very quickly how to get the simulated sky system up and running very quickly. And of course after this you can then do the same and then go further, deeper, and start exploring all of the functionalities. This is how I do it. It's certainly not the only way, but I just want to give you a little quick demo. I'm just going to create a bit of a scene. This is just a shelf. But what you need to do, there's a script. It's a test. It runs through all of the different features of the sky system. And I just want to show you how I can demonstrate that. That's a bug fix from one of the last updates. It wasn't glowing. But in the latest version that you can get in the beta, it is glowing. It was always meant to glow. So anything that's collectible can glow, like ammo, something like that. But I just want to demonstrate that you can't do it on a static, you have to do it on a dynamic entity and go into properties. And one of the properties inside this entity is the script, AI system main. So you just select the right of that field and it gives you the script bank folder. It is in the root near the bottom. So if you go to the bottom of all the Lua files, scroll up a little bit, you'll see something called simulated_sky_demo. So just select that. Make sure that once you've selected it, you click apply changes. And that's essentially all you need to do. Now, as soon as we run this level, this dynamic object is going to launch that script, and that script does the sky demo. So I'll just do test level, and I'll just step back a little bit, and I'll press E to start the demo. And what this script is doing, it's firing through all the Lua commands that control the new procedural sky system. So after this demo, I won't go into the script, but you can go into that same Lua file that I've just selected, and you can look at the commands, see how it works, and then use as little or as much of this system. Right away, you can see one of the long requested features is a day-night cycle. So you can see the number on the left, that's the hour of the day, 24 hours in a day. So it's getting pretty late, 8 PM. Sun's just gone down, and now we're in the night time. And you can imagine that'll reset back to 0 and it goes round and round and round. But this demo just goes through all the different settings that you can adjust. So you've got your day-night cycle. Star density is all about, if I just look mostly at the sky, you'll see that more stars are appearing, and you can control how many stars are off being rendered in the sky. You've got some extra special sky modes. So you've got like the Aurora Borealis, different animation effects, atmospheric effects, scattering, things like that. And the number that you see, that's the mode. So if you set the sky mode to 35, 45, 25, you get all these different looking effects. You've also got a control of lightning. No sound, just the visuals of it, because it's just rendering the sky. And then of course clouds. So I just turn around here, that's probably a better way to look at the clouds. And you have control over a couple of parameters on the cloud system: coverage, density. And when we come back out of this demo, I thought it was important to show the demo because it just gives you everything within like 2 minutes and see what's going on. I'll show you how you can start a new level, set up your own sky. In case you, surprise, surprise, didn't want to go and start scripting. It's just this demo really shows that you have full control. And not only cloud density, etc., but also wind speed. So effectively how fast is the clouds being pushed across the sky. And you get the idea. I'm sure there's more in the demo, but I want to quickly get on. There's lots of things to show. So, as I mentioned, how do we actually get the sky? So if I sort of restart that level, but instead of actually pressing E to start that demo, what I can do is just go into, you see world settings, sky type, it says a simulated sky. You can just pick a cube map, one of these existing ones. But if you wanted the simulated sky, select a simulated sky at the top. And then for the settings, it's the sky settings tab. And so you start to see some of the things I've already mentioned, the cloud coverage controls, the place latitude on the planet Earth, the day of the month of the year, and some of the settings as I've mentioned. This is the special sky mode, 25, 35, 45, so you can set that there. And of course star density and the all important time of day, and you can set that to what time of day you want. And I imagine that someone in the community is going to create a nice script that just does time of day, and then maybe there's some way you can easily control that progression of day-night cycles through a property, through the object itself. So that's how you get access to it for the demo, and also access directly within your test level. So please do enjoy that and give us some feedback. If you want us to make it a little bit easier, you want access to more stuff, let us know, because the meat of it is in there. Now it's just a case of how would you like to add it to your level, and if you're having difficulties, let us know. We'll make it a bit easier for you. But yeah, it's been a long time in coming. Not only a much improved simulated sky system, but also the day-night cycle, which I think has been requested for about 6 years. So that's GameGuru Classic. Without further ado, let's dive straight on into GameGuru Maxland. Okay, so what have I got to show you in GameGuru Max Universe? Well, I'd like to show you a video. And this video is much better than, if you remember in previous broadcasts, I dropped down a lot of objects and showed you different behavior scripts, different behaviors that do different things. But a member of the community has just gone one stage further and created a really nice series of corridors and rooms, and showing off some of the behaviors that currently exist in GameGuru Max. And it was so good. Couldn't use the assets because they were part of a game that's still being worked on. But what I was allowed to do is create a built-in tutorial from this. And I think we're going to create a series of these built-in tutorials. So I'll call this part 1. And I won't rabbit on anymore. I'll just play the video so you can see what I'm talking about.
Welcome to the GameGuru Max Logic Behavior Demonstration. Use the switch to open the door. This is using the sliding door behavior. A camera can be set up using the SecMon behavior. You can attach it to a terminal, then add the name of your camera model in the settings. This is a simple force field using the hide show behavior. Hide show will allow you to hide a model and replace it with another. You can delay an action using the timed event behavior. Attach the behavior to a model and link it to a trigger zone and also the item you want to trigger. This delay has been set to open the door right now. You can attach a flashlight to a character using the NPC flashlight behavior. Simply attach the script to a spotlight near the NPC and match the model name in the settings. This is demonstrated by a drone setup as a character. You can create a teleport using the teleport behavior. Attach it to a trigger zone and link it to a model in another location. You can gain more control over the flashlight using the flashlight behavior. Attach it to your flashlight model and set your preferences in the settings. You can set up an item as a battery to recharge your flashlight. Thank you for watching this first part in a series of behavior demonstrations.
So that was the tutorial, part 1. We have tons of behaviours on the way, so there'll be plenty of material. I think it's a great format if you're not interested in diving through the behaviour library one by one and you just want a summary. This is a great format to show you what those behaviours do before you decide you need them or not. So more of them on the way. Without further ado, I want to show you this. We announced it earlier today at 4 PM, which is the winners of the Halloween competition. So we had to pick 5 and it was really difficult. so right at the last minute I decided to pick 6 for a joint 5th place because I really couldn't make my mind up between the last 2. I wasn't the only one judging, there was other members of TGC and we aggregated our findings and these are the top 5. So first place is James with this rather excellent shot of it's night time. I've got a nice description in the news feed, so if you want to learn more about what we thought about each of the screenshots, we've put a little description under each one. But James came first. If you remember the last competition, you may remember Fabio. Another great scene from Fabio. Paul came third. For a long time I thought, wow, was this really done in GameGuru Max? But I recognised the sky. So believe it, it's definitely done in GameGuru Max. And the 4th position goes to Peck. Sorry Peck if that is a mispronunciation of your name, but that's what I read in the spreadsheet we was assembling for the competition. But really great use of silhouettes and a nice big juicy scurry pumpkin sitting on the table. And the joint 5th, both striving for the same idea of this sort of foggy, hazy effect to describe a very spooky environment. Do like the abducted cow. I'm not sure they're abducting cows in Halloween, but the rest of the screen's great. So those are the 5 winners. There's a link on the TGC news blog and also a Steam announcement if you want to read the full news and how we came to our decision. We are enjoying these screenshot competitions. I think we're going to do another one. Probably not themed this time. So literally just produce the best looking screenshot in GameGuru Max and you can use your own custom art as long as it is a screenshot of an actual GameGuru Max level. That would be, I think, the only condition. So as I said, I'm going on holiday for a little bit. When I get back I'll start the ball rolling on planning for that competition and maybe we'll have it running closer to Christmas. So congratulations to the winners, and hopefully everybody else who entered, you don't mind if we show you some of those community some of those screenshots in the near future. There was a lot of really good ones, and like I said, it was a really hard judging process. But the unfortunate thing for us judges is we kind of have to pick. You know, we'd like to pick everybody, but we had to pick some winners, and we really like these. They look really good screenshots. I'm really happy with them. And the last thing I want to talk about with GameGuru Max is DirectX 12. Just a really quick news update on what's going on there. It has taken longer than I would have liked. Right now, according to my original dev plan, I would already be through virtual reality. I already have been doing VR by now. But the DX12 and the merge to the latest Wicked engine was substantial because we've left the sync with the Wicked engine for around 14-15 months between syncs, and there was a lot of changes in that time, and all those have to be reflected in the latest version. The good news is that all the custom shaders are now compiling, and a good chunk of them are now doing what they need to do in the latest version of the engine. I've got terrain again, but there's problems with the texture. So because I don't really want to leave you hanging, and I know you do want this build before we all leave for Christmas, I'm taking my laptop with me and I'm going to continue the DX12 port work. I've already made sure that all the various bits and pieces compile, so I've got the latest version already running on the laptop, and I have at my leisure 3 weeks to plug through the remaining custom shaders, get everything working like it did before. But I think I showed you in the last broadcast, we're also going to get some free benefits from using the latest version of the Wicked engine, and I'll be looking forward to itemizing those, doing some screenshots and showing you exactly what the difference is between what you had before and what you're going to have for the Christmas release. We haven't got a date on it yet. Again, it's an unknown quantity how long this DX12 work is going to take. And we're also going to look at bug fixes as well, but more on that when I get back and I've formed a better plan, and fingers crossed I have a DirectX 12 build to be able to share with everyone. So that was the first part with a few demos I'd like to show. I'm sure you've got some questions, so I'm going to try and find the live chat and bring it into the main screen. So without further ado, let's dive into some Q&A. Okay, so hopefully you can see the screen, and more specifically you can see the live chat. And if you have been asking questions, there isn't really anyone who can gather them for me. So what I'm going to do, this is what we used to do back in the olden days before Broadcast 100. I just scroll to the top, I'll look for some question marks, blast out some verbal answers. But if you don't have time to do it during this live chat, I'm looking at the clock, we're 18 minutes in, so I'll probably do 10 minutes here. And then if you've still got some questions, we can do that in the Discord, and we'll spend a bit of time there, which is a slightly different format for answering questions. Sometimes you can get more answers crammed into the Discord than you can from here, because there's usually all questions and I can type them straight away. Okay, let's find the top one. This is from Marcos. Question mark. When will we have stylized and cartoonist effects? You mean like switching a display mode so you can like have cartoon rendering instead of the ones you've got now? There are no plans for that. The closest you've got is there's a post-process drop down for filters, which does quite a lot. I think I've got some like 30 odd filters using the LUT database. So if you don't already know about that, go check it out, because that gets you a little bit closer. We might use the similar sort of drop down, then you can add things like cartoon rendering, etc. But there are no plans for that, because there are some big hitting features that we want to get complete and call GameGuru Max version 1 before we come back and start adding all of these. But if it doesn't exist in the issues board that we have on GitHub, then post it there. And maybe a suggestion of where you think it should go in the interface, and more specifics on what you mean by stylized and cartoonist effects. Best way is probably a screenshot and maybe a link to a game that already does it that way. I'm thinking of things like Max Payne and Serious Sam, where there's a very unique rendering for the whole game and the style of the thing. Ralph says, short holiday, 3 weeks. It's a short holiday because I'm taking the laptop, so I won't be holidaying every day. I will be chased by this DirectX 12 task. So I might not get any holiday, but I'm giving myself the opportunity to have a holiday as a sort of reward if I can get DirectX 12 sorted for you. But I don't think even I am going to take another 3 weeks to get everything sorted and have a build for you when I get back. But there are team members going to be here in my absence, continuing to do bug fixes and release builds through the EXP on Steam. So don't worry, it's not going to go silent for 3 weeks. It's just changing hands slightly whilst I am elsewhere. Here's another question. This is from NightfallX. Which is harder to work with, Max or Classic? Max. Because Max is the unknown quantity. We've been working on GameGuru Classic for about 7 years, and I'm extremely familiar with every line of code in there. Max, we're still building it, we're still inventing it, we're still cobbling it, the wires back together so it works with the latest, greatest of everything. So that was an easy answer. Max is definitely the more challenging. I wouldn't say harder, I would say more challenging, but for me, more challenging also means much more fun. It's a journey into the unknown. Okay, here's a question mark from Jaybird Max. I haven't been able to make a working standalone game. It started loading and then just disappears. Is this not functioning yet? Can't remember the last time I did a standalone. I think it was the last big public build. So I didn't see it. So it might be something specific to your level. If you mention it in the socials and other people are getting it, like everyone you talk to, then it sounds like a bug that may have been introduced in the latest build. My solution would be just to step back to a version that you know works and carry on with your project, and then make sure it's on the issues board and that we know about it, because yeah, it's pretty serious if every standalone will crash. But my guess is it might be something to do with the level that you've got, in which case it's much harder for us to reproduce without nabbing all your assets and then recreating what you're seeing. Okay, la 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 la. Yeah, so comments. I can scroll down a little bit, can I? Yes, I can. That's another one. I built a fairly elaborate level using one building, built in the alpha building creator. Ooh, we have an alpha building creator. When I deleted the building from the level, it deleted all the work I've done after the initial placement. Known bug? Question mark. Could be. The building editor is very recently released. I wouldn't be at all surprised if there's a few lurking bugs in there, especially when you start using the exported buildings a lot in your levels. We've spent a lot of our time testing the editor itself, but the interaction of the exports with everything else in GameGuru Max, yeah, if you discover stuff like that, please let us know in the issues board and point us to them. In fact, if you email them, so once you've created the issue board on the issues, email lee@thegamecreators.com with a link to that issue, because we do want to put an emphasis on the easy and obvious and quick to fix building editor related bugs, because we want you to use the building editor, get a kick out of it, figure out what's left to be added to make it fully rounded and complete. But it's certainly working for us. But yeah, I suppose if you use it long enough, you will find a few niggles, because it's relatively new. Another question. Looking for a question mark, really. That just helps me out quite a lot. Here we go. This is the next question mark. This is AlphaCraft 700. Can I do it on GameGuru? You can make games in GameGuru Classic and you can make games in GameGuru Max. I assume that's a question to an earlier statement, and I didn't read that statement, so sorry if the answer is out of context. But you can certainly do game making in GameGuru. Alright, looking for a question. Can someone answer my question, please? I really need an answer. If someone can read further up the chat and find out what the context is and maybe provide an answer, that would be awesome. Okay, looking for the next question mark. That comes in... Oh, yeah. Skippy. The next question mark down looks like it is here from Dennis. Is it possible to change the brightness level of a flashlight? Also, how to change the speed of the player individually for walking and running. Can you change the brightness of the flashlight? Yuck. I don't think so. No, I don't remember creating or supporting or testing any commands in the Lua command system that would let you control the intensity of that flashlight. I think it's literally a spotlight that's pointing forward and locked to the camera. There are already issues on the issues board where that level of control is required, like the not only intensity, but where is the source of the flashlight? Can you attach it to an actual torch model and flash it around? The reason that's not already been added is we were saving that until we do VR, because VR, you literally do need to pick up a model of a torch and shine it around holding the controller and pointing it here, there and everywhere. And at that point, adding flashlight control commands, it makes sense to add them all. Anything that even is remotely useful in a game, we will want control over that. Right now, it's a really simple spotlight that just shines out from the camera position. Not much control as far as I can recall. Please correct me in the chat if I'm completely wrong and commands have been added by our friendly community in my distracted state within the DX12 world. Here's a question from Retro Game Block. Any thoughts on a spline-based road system to make it easy to have nice curving roads on our map? As far as TGC goes, we've created systems like that a few times, and it is really cool to generate paths, fences, roads, all those kinds of things using control points and create like a Catmull Rum spline to connect them all up. But there are no specific plans to do that until we get to a version 1. I foresee the spline road / path system happening in and around when we have faster than walk travel. In fact, that actually reminds me, I missed one of the question points, the second point that Dennis was asking. Change the speed of the player individually for walking and running. Yes, you can. If you drop down a start marker and go into the properties, you'll see that's controls for the player speed. So you can actually control that modifier there. But that brings me on to this latest question and the answer, which is at some point we will want to see in GameGuru Max things like vehicles. So you'll need roads for the vehicles to drive along, but things like paths and fast horses or riding other sorts of animals where you're going through a lot of terrain very quickly and you want paths for that. And you don't want to spend all your life painting the paths manually. You basically just want to stretch out a path and let the path follow all the contours of the existing terrain. So that's how I anticipate in terms of the when something like that will happen. But it's certainly not on our roadmap for pre-version 1. That still remains RPG, VR, stability, performance, puzzles, not necessarily in that order. So I'm scrolling to the bottom of live chat. I think there's a few more questions. There is. And when it jumps like that, I totally lose my place, so I have to read through half the chat again. Found my place. What has been shown in terms of GG Classic? I guess you're joining late, Duke229. I suppose when it goes on YouTube, you can just start watching from the beginning. But on the GameGuru Classic side, I actually showed you how to use the simulated sky demo script, and also where you find the simulated sky and be able to change all the controls for your levels that you're creating. So yeah, you can go back in time once this goes and drops onto YouTube. Next question below. This is from Inquititious Prime. Sorry, I did definitely mispronounce that. Can I import a character model and use the existing behaviours for NPC? Yes and no. Certainly if you've got a model that's sufficiently rigged and animated, and then you could tie that to all the same behaviours that the current characters that are produced from the character creator use, then yeah, you'll be able to use all the behaviours that we've created for the characters for your imported character. But there are a lot of hoops to jump through to take a model that might look great in an asset store, but then to get that completely game ready and functional, there are quite a few hoops to go through. And it's usually what's called a technical artist who can jump most of those hoops. But there's plenty of advice out there on showing you how to do it. There is also a guide how to get started in order to create those sorts of models. But we do feel it's one of our jobs to make that job as easy as possible, and we're looking to work in that area in terms of improving the model importer, expanding the guide, and maybe putting out some more files to sort of make it a bit easier to start with like a base character and then start making the changes and swaps, and it'll just drop in, import into Max, and just work with all the existing behaviours. The quickest and easiest way is just to use the character creator, because that instantly exports the correct character with rig and animation that works with all the character behaviours. Okay, question mark. I think Monkey Frog, you answered that question. Should be in the beta soon. It is in the beta and in the public preview right now, so after this broadcast, go check it out. It's available to play with. Here's a question from Peck. Wicked as a feature to simulate cloth. Will this be a considered feature to be added in the future? Not before version 1, but I know exactly which effect you're talking about, and it is very cool. It's tied to that. I don't think the Wicked engine uses the very latest version of Bullet. I think actually the GameGuru Max uses a later version of Bullet, and I'm pretty sure the cloth is using Bullet for the cloth simulation. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. It's just we've not added it as a thing. It won't be too difficult to do, but we'll probably add that around the same time we expand physics control. There's already a few commands in the Lua script to add physics interconnections between objects, but cloth is not one of them right now. Very cool feature, but it's not one of the highest priority ones. But it's definitely in Wicked, and it will find its way to Max at some point. X-Men Assemble asks third person question mark. No plans to do third person games until we get past version 1, and then we'll see what the kind of priority lanes are like. 3Com asks any chance to run, stop, rain, snow via Lua. So I think we all know you can actually have no weather, rain or snow, and you get that from the UI. But I think you set it on a level and then that's it. You'll always be raining or always be snowing. The question is, can we actually have a script command to stop that? I don't know whether we've got that. I'd like to say yes, we have that command, but I could easily be wrong on that one. That was not a very hard one at all. If that doesn't already exist as an issue request, put it down as an enhancement and then link it to me. It is literally a 10-minute job to add those commands and empower scripters with the ability to control that weather. And I know it's not the best weather in the world. There are aspirations to improve that with just better shaders and more control and more convincing snow and convincing rain. Okay, looking at the clock, we're now 32 minutes in, so that's been a good chunk of questions and answers. But I do see a few more questions, so I'm quite happy to answer a few more before we scoot off to Discord. This is from Darth Pickles 666. Can you please release a tutorial on how to add your own character models as enemies, allies? I don't mean with character creator. Yes, we have a guide, but maybe you're asking for an actual video tutorial, like a walkthrough visually from, say, a character in Blender or what's it called? Mixamo. Yeah. I thought it was something else. Yeah, Mixamo that's a great source of characters with animations and rigged. Can we get those in? But there are so many ways to create characters. We could create a series of tutorials and still not cover it all. But yeah, we are looking to do that because at some point you will want to be bringing in all kinds of stuff, not just stuff that's created from the built-in editors. Yeah, there is a question here. Oh no, sorry. Monkey Frog Studios answers with question marks at the end, so making me confused. So I think I can skip that one. X-Men asks, when will GameGuru Max be ready? There is no fixed date on the version 1 release. We just want to get all of the things that we said we'll add to Max done. And I think once we get towards the end of that list, we will have a better idea of where we are. I would call a version 1 all the aforementioned features that I've mentioned as part of that list, but also getting that bug list right down and having something that's really solid and stable. So when you set out to make a game and export it as a standalone and share it and sell it, that game is solid as well. That's where I would say GameGuru Max is ready, and we're far from that right now. So welcome to the wonderful world of early access. We're still in the middle of it. Okay, no more question marks, and we drop to the bottom. No, Peck asks the last question. This will be the last question before we jump to Discord. Can we have a trailer for GameGuru Max similar to FPSC X10 trailer? The voice actor was amazing. Now you're going back a long way with FPS Creator X10, and so far back I don't even remember what the trailer was. But yeah, I'll certainly dig it out. It might even be on YouTube somewhere. So maybe if you can join us on Discord, you can find the link, just paste it there and I'll have a quick watch whilst I'm waiting for more questions to come in. So thanks for all your questions today. I hope I was sufficient to answer all your questions today. I've provided a Discord link in the description in this live broadcast, so you'll find that on the YouTube description chunk. Just click that, it will take you here, which is the Discord channel, so you can start typing your questions now. And I'll start from Old Flack's last comment, which is let's hope so, thumbs up smiley, and I'll find any questions below that statement. That marks the start of our Discord session. But for this Wednesday, this will be the last bit of Lively you're going to get for a couple of weeks. I still be, as I said, I'm taking my laptops, I'm still working, I'm still available to the team for all the things that need to happen on a weekly basis here at TGC. But I'll be back 3 weeks after 3 more broadcasts, we'll live chat again. And yeah, check out next Wednesday at 7 p.m. GMT, where you can watch a pre-record, which has the benefit of me being able to do a bit of video editing to speed up some of the boring bits, like waiting for a progress bar to complete. And at the end of that, you'll have the Discord link where you can actually go off and have an opportunity to get some answers from Zach, who'll be happy to attend. So until next Wednesday, well, I'll be joining you virtually. I'll see those who want on Discord, and for everybody else, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll speak to you all again soon. So until then, goodbye.